Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Poindexter, and I hope you've been having a great summer. Some of you I know have been in another course, and if that's the case, hopefully you have been able to have a breather, enjoy the 4th of July holiday, and are about ready to jump into this course. It is 4 weeks, but we really still do try to condense 7 weeks of material into it, so there is still a lot of work you need to do. What I'm going to do today in this overview is kind of walk you through some of the highlights of the course and just try to get you going, and so you can kind of get your bearings. So when you first get to the Blackboard course, I'm in your student view. You want to go to Getting Started. Make sure that you review all the different policies here. Some of these you might be familiar with, but if not, just take a second to know, because we do take the time to try to provide you a lot of information in one place. Once you've gone through all of this, and once you've gone through the course documents and everything, make sure that you do your ATI assessment and review policy acknowledgement, and there's also a course quiz. This course quiz doesn't count towards your overall grade, but I do want to see it done by the end of week 1, just simply because it is such a short course, and I want to make sure that you don't miss some important information. Okay? So once you've gone to the Getting Started, next you have your course documents. Make sure you print up your course syllabus, your resource manual, which has your weekly assignments, the course calendar itself. Here is information that's additional about course point. I also have some great information under this folder about APA formatting. You might not do a lot of this in this course, but check out the resources I have, because over time I have collected a lot, and it might be something with a lot of links and some downloads that you can certainly bookmark and download to your computer that you may not have gotten from other courses. Faculty information. This is information about myself. Most of you know me, have had me in classes. Best way to get a hold of me probably is by email, because I get it on my phone, but certainly if you have an issue, you can give me a call or text me. I am in clinic a couple times during the summer, just to kind of keep up on my own clinical skills, so you might not always get me if you do call. So email and texting are probably the best. Here are going to be your learning modules. Just to briefly go over them, you see here there's a total of 5 weeks, which technically week 5 is just your finals week. That's when you'll take your ATI final. But you'll see here week 1 has actually 2 different folders for module 1 and 2. Week 2 has module 3, and week 3 has module 4. And I'll jump back to this in just a moment. To kind of go through how you should go through your learning modules, but we're just kind of going through everything on the tabs. The next one you have is discussions, and here's where you can post general course questions. You can talk among yourselves, which I know you folks typically don't use ever, but I still provide it. During week 1 you'll introduce yourself. And also during week 1, this is when you folks need to get together and come up with your groups, because you will have one group assignment, and that information will populate when week 1 opens. Okay. Other things, you have tools, help, Blackboard help, and obviously your grades here. Now look at the documents. I just want to point out some things. In your nursing syllabus, this basically goes into detail about the course, what the requirements are. I did send out an announcement in terms of what materials you need. You have your program outcomes, your course objectives, textbooks and references. You do need your course point for this, since there are assignments. I've sent you information about how to access it, how to purchase it online if you don't get it from the bookstore, because if you go to the bookstore, you're just going to get an access code, but if you buy it directly from Lippincott, you'll get an immediate download, and I think it's about a $2 difference between the two. You need to have it done. Now, when you do get that course point, it does come with an ebook. I think it's sufficient enough just to have the ebook because I give you specific page numbers, but if you are a type of person that needs to actually read something in your hands, then I would just say rent the book in addition to. Just try to cut down on some cost. This is a completely online class, except you'll need to come to the University Center for your practice ATI assessment and your final proctored ATI assessment. This is the breakdown of the class. You have 15% for discussion boards, your group project is 30%, your ATI final is 10%, your course point quizzes are 20%, and your ATI modules are 25%. This gives you the breakdown of the assessments. Please make sure, I know you folks have done 7-week courses, but just kind of refresh your memory of how that happens with doing the practice assessment and then the actual proctored in terms of your points. And this is the document that you'll need to sign and submit to me by the end of week 1. This is your grading scale. Late assignments. Hopefully none of you will be late on your assignments. I'm pretty lax during the summertime, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we look at your resource manual, but please don't turn in anything late. Typically, I will not accept anything if it's more than 3 days late. APA, we use the 6th edition, and everything else in the syllabus is pretty standard, so just take a few minutes to go through that, okay? And look, I'm going through it really fast. Awesome. Now, your resource manual, this is where you are going to get the bulk meat of your course. So if you have questions, the resource manual will have most of them for you. This tells you everything that is in the resource manual. So kind of use this also as a guide to get your bearings for the class. There are 2 discussion boards during week 2 and 3. They're both worth 7.5%. Your leadership project is 30%. That is 25% of your grade plus 5% for the team contract. The team contract and your topic for your group needs to be submitted by the end of week 1. Your group leader will be responsible for doing this. Your ATI final, 10%. And then this is the breakdown of the course point module and video cases and which ones you need to do. Each one of them is worth 1.25%. And then your ATI modules, the leader cases are 4%, and all 4 modules of the Nurses Touch come to 5%. And that is what basically makes up your class. Now, in terms of online engagement, when we do discussion boards, there's only 2. You have to do your initial post, which needs to be done by Wednesday by midnight or 11:59 p.m. And then your cross posts, which are going to be to 2 other classmates, have to be done on a different day of your initial post to get points, and those have to be done by Sunday evening at 11:59. So Wednesday, initial post, cross post Sunday. You can't do everything on one day. Initial post needs to be at least a minimum of 150 words. Your cross post 100 words. Make sure that you use some references and make sure they're credible, please. Here is your rubric. I grade you by a rubric and nothing more. So guess what? Follow your rubric. Your group project is going to be a voiceover narrative PowerPoint presentation. It's about hot topics in nursing. Take some time to read through this, but you will need to form a group of either 3 to 4 students. You will select a current issue or hot topic, and you want to address it through the lens of the nurse leader. Below here are the different topics. And with the number of students that we have in here for the summer course, I'm thinking we should have a total of maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 groups. First come, first served basis, so make sure your group leader post on the appropriate discussion board. And group leaders, when you do this, you want to make sure that you put your topic as the header, and within the body of the discussion board list the members of your group. Presentation should consist of 15 to 20 slides, including your title and reference slides. And go through every point here. It is very detailed. It will tell you specifically what you need, approximately how many slides you need to use. Everything for it should be listed here. One big thing that a lot of students overlook, please do not forget when you're looking at your references, you need a minimum of 4 professional references, with at least 2 being nursing journal articles from the last 5 years. And really, overall, if you ever do research in general, I hope you've learned that in the last 5 years is pretty much best to have in terms of references because it's relevant. Here are some group presentation tips when submitting. Also, there is no size requirement or that a file can't be a certain size, but one thing that Dr. Davis, who works in our visual technologies department, basically says that if you're uploading a very large file, it's not good to do over a wireless network, and it can just take a long time. So the group leader, when you are submitting your final project, 1, make sure you're submitting it with enough time, and maybe doing it over a hard landline if you can. Here's the group project rubric. It's very detailed, and again, it kind of gives you the breakdown of how many slides. So a lot of you that have had me in the past, if you've had me for some other courses, one thing I will always stress is please follow your rubric. Once you're done, have everybody graded against the rubric and see if you've missed anything. Alright, so for your Course Point Plus, here's the class code. You need to register after you have actually purchased your Course Point. You need to enlist into this class code, because that's the only way that I can actually see that you're doing the modules. So there's a class code, and you want to make sure you enroll in it. There's also a course code for ATI, and it gives you, once you enroll in that, again, it kind of groups you together, so it makes it a little bit easier for me to see if you have completed your assignments on time and what your scores are. And this just gives you information of how to do that. And also at this time, I'm going to give you the secret word. It is watermelon, and that is with a capital W. That's W-A-T-E-R-M-E-L-O-N with a capital W, watermelon. That's the secret word. Alright, so here are your assignments by week. So here are going to be your suggested readings and your assignments. Now everything that's in green you have to do that week. Okay, so for example here, week 1, you need to introduce yourself on the discussion board. You need to do your Getting Started course quiz, your Getting Started ATI acknowledgement form, and your team leader needs to submit the team contract and topic on the discussion board. Everything else there that you see, which are the ATI modules and your course point, everything from weeks 1 through 3 doesn't have to be done until the end of week 3. Basically, what I'm showing you here is what I suggest that you do each week to kind of stay on top of things. But certainly I know some of you work during the summer. I don't know what your lives are like, so I'm trying to give you some flexibility, but there are some things you actually need to do each week. So then when we look at week 2, for example, you see highlighted in green here the discussion board. You have to do your discussion board that week. It is quite optional for you to do these course point ATI modules during week 2. You're not going to get marked off if you do them the week before or the week after. But all your ATI and course point modules need to be done by the end of week 3. And you see how it says right here, all ATI and course point modules need to be completed by the end of week 3. During week 3, you also have a discussion board too. So I'm just trying to give you a little bit of leeway in when you finish things, but pretty much all your work needs to be done by the end of week 3, except for the discussion boards. Those have to be done on the weekly basis, and some of these other kind of housekeeping items that you need to complete, all in green. Okay, so if that doesn't make sense, you need to ask, okay, or ask a friend. Week 4, you see here in yellow, this is going to be your proctored ATI practice tests. You need to come on campus for those. And then here the final week is just going to be your proctored, and you'll need to submit obviously your focus reviews. And that's your resource manual. Now we also have a calendar where I give you a little bit more detail in when things are due. So week 1 tells you what's due by the end of week 1, and then when your proctored assessments are. So you see here you need to come to campus on July 30th for your practice, and then again the following week on Monday, August the 6th, you need to come to UCG, room 507 at 9 a.m. for your proctored. Everything in terms of your ATI modules and course point modules need to be done by the end of week 3, except for those discussion boards. So I hope that makes sense. I was trying to give you folks, again, some leeway. I just hope I didn't make it too confusing. At the very end, your handwritten focus review needs to be submitted to Blackboard by the 8th, and your grades are posted by the 10th of August. So this is a pretty fast and furious course that you'll be going through. So like I said, I promised we would look back quickly at one of the learning modules so you just see how it's set up. We'll just look at week 1, module 1, and like I said, week 1 has 2 different modules. But for example, what will happen is you will see the week's objective. Here's managing client care. You go down, there's a to-do. There's readings. It gives you specific page numbers under your Marquise and Houston book. And then down here, it tells you assignments due at the end of week 1. You introduce yourself, your course quiz, your ATI acknowledgement, enroll in your ATI and course point classes. Below that, it says suggested assignments for this week, but all are due by the end of week 3. Below this, I have some videos that will help you better understand the material on delegation prioritization. Here is your link that will take you to the Introduce Yourself discussion board. And I also have some additional materials that talks about delegation and the statements put out by the South Carolina Licensing Board. And then there's also some visuals that I have about delegation to help you. So I would certainly look over all this information. Anything that I have on these modules, I just don't have as fluff. There's a very specific reason why I provide them. So certainly please take the time to review them. And we'll look at week 1, module 2, just for kicks and giggles, kind of get you going and how the flow of things are. This is coordinating client care, to do, read chapter ATI, ATI chapter 2, and then what you need to read in Marquis and Houston, and then what assignments the group leader needs to submit, and then submit the topic. Suggested, again, assignments for this week. All of them are due by the end of week 3. And down here, this is for the group leader, where they will submit the topic. Click here, that takes it to the discussion link, and this is where they'll actually submit the learning contract for the group project, and the attached file here is the actual contract. And that contract looks like this. So your team leader will identify themselves, put the topic for the project. It gives the responsibility of what the team leader is supposed to do and the responsibility of the team members. You need to adhere to the team contract and the agreed due dates, communicate with team members and the team leader if there is an issue, and communicate with team members on the group discussion board. And so when I see the groups are put together, I will actually open up a page where there will be group discussion boards on Blackboard that you can talk to each other within your own group. So that you won't see right now until I know who's in which group. Okay, so hopefully that kind of gives you a quick overview. I know that's about 20 minutes and probably losing you. But like I said, it's a quick course. There's a lot of information. And so please take time to look over everything, read through everything, look at the videos. It will certainly help you to be successful on your ATI assessment. So look forward to the next 4 weeks. Take care and goodbye.